Hey, welcome back to Missouri Sports Network and High School Game Day, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, Missouri Sports Network, where everyone has a home field advantage. This episode brought to you by Great Southern Bank, Doak Propane, Bank of Billings, Grant Baker Shelter Insurance, Agent in Aurora, and Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks. And we go down to Republic Mo and talk to Republic basketball head coach Tim Brown. Coach Brown, thanks for your time today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Coach, coming off of a tremendous season a year ago, 22-5. Your last game was against the eventual state champion Kickapoo. You played them well. What about last year can you take and build off of coming into the 2021-22 season?
I think last year was a group that, we have a very high basketball tradition here in Republic and feel very blessed to be part of a program and a community that's so basketball oriented and really enjoys, watching hoops. And we've had a lot of good memories here in our program. And I think last year's team was a team that a lot of people really rallied behind because we weren't the most athletic. We didn't pass the eye test most games and warm-ups, and just a group of guys that really epitomized what we call Republic basketball. And we use terms like doing Republic things. And I think our community really just enjoyed watching us. And I think what we can build off with that is when you play for one another and you do the little things and you don't care who gets the credit, big things can happen. And that's kind of how our season was all year last year. We had a group of guys that just wanted to be on the court and help their team win. And that's something that's kind of lost a lot in high school sports and probably all sports now is sometimes you get people concerned about their stats and other things. And we just had a group of guys that really cared about winning basketball games. And, for the most part, we had two guys that did the majority of our scoring. And that was not something that was talked about. We just had a lot of guys that understand the game and understand that gave us our best chance to win. And the fun thing about our system is even though maybe two guys got the majority of the point scoring and shots, the way we play in our motion, everyone has a job and everyone has a role, and everyone doing that role helps others be successful. And so we were really good at that last year. We had a great season. And I think our guys, it's something that this program's always done, even with the great coaches before me. But it really just was a great reminder for our group. If you play for one another and like one another and do the little things, good things can happen.
And Coach, you talk about that tradition, and you come out of a tradition-rich program, graduating from Rogersville, lots of tradition there as well. You go on to Drury. You were an assistant coach for your dad, who's a legend in this area. Was that tradition there at Republic something that drew you to that job 4 years ago when you took it?
Oh, definitely. I spent 7 years at Fairgrove, and a program that I'm very proud of, having been a part of, in a school district that I think is a top-notch school district, and probably have some of the best relationships I have in life came from there with other coaches and administrators. And so it was a program that, like I said, at the time I took over, it was a winning program. And we were Kevin Armstrong was the coach before, a veteran guy. And that was kind of the pillars that he was building before he left, was trying to make it a championship level program. And we worked at it and finally got it to that point, and we kind of became my baby. I was there for 7 years and had a lot of stability and longevity in it. And it was a really hard place to leave. But whenever you have the opportunity to come to a place like Republic that's so basketball rich, and when you have the opportunity to have a guy like Trevor Fisher, who was the head coach before, and the amount of respect and the friendship I have with him, you have the opportunity when he got moved over to the AD to be the guy that he hands the keys to the program over. That's just one of those things you can't pass up. And so it was a unique situation that I left because felt so strongly about it, and still feel so good about the people that are there in the program, and still have a lot of strong ties to the program. Kill Ramsey was an assistant here at Republic, was an assistant for me at Fairgrove, and then came here to work for Trevor. And then he went back to be the head coach when I left. And we actually were able to just hire Kale this past year. He's a Republic native and lives here. And we hired him to be an assistant here. And then Brian Tucker, my assistant, he'd been my longtime assistant for 9 years, and he went back to Fairgrove to be the head coach. So kind of a big coaching tree that we have with Fairgrove. And it's just a really neat opportunity to still think so fondly of a place, and then have a place like this where I can continue to grow and be a part of a really good basketball program and a really good school.
You're listening to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network. We're visiting with Tim Brown, the head basketball coach of the Republic Tigers. And Coach, as you look at last year, what are you going to have to replace? I mean, it's going to be tough. I know Drew McMillan is up here at Southwest Baptist University. Actually got to see him score 61 points in a game here in the Bolivar tournament against Camdenton. Outside of that, plus Drew, what are you having to replace, and who's going to fill those shoes?
You know, we have 5 seniors that really set the tone for all those things I was talking about previously on the leadership and just the culture of our program. You know, you talk about culture. Culture is not something that just stays all the time. It's the people that are in the room that fight for that culture. It's not just things that are hanging on a wall. It's not just traditions. It definitely helps when you have those things that players can kind of see and know that if we do these things can happen. But those seniors did an awesome job of just maintaining that culture and kind of setting the stage for what the expectation was every single day. All 5 of them they just wanted to win. And it was a group that kind of had to wait their turn outside of Drew, and really all had tremendous seasons and really starred in their roles. And we're obviously going to miss all 5 of them. But when you talk about losing a player like Drew McMillan, one of the best ever to put a Republic jersey on, you know, to do the things he did every single night. I think he averaged 20 a game as a junior in our league and conference, and then was one of the top leading scorers in all of Class 6 last year at about 23, 24 points per game. And so you lose a player like that, it's going to be hard to replace. But the good thing about it is we feel like we still have a lot of key ingredients from last year's basketball team. We played more guys than we had played in the past, and we still feel like we have some guys that are ready for it to be their turn, and kind of similar makeup of guys that really all they care about is winning.
As you look at your schedule, and always starts off with that fantastic, it's the 57th annual Republic tournament coming up this season. It's always a loaded field. Then you've got your non-conference games, include a Bolivar, a Cleveland, or a Smith Cotton, I believe, in your non-conference game. Plus you go to the Bolivar tournament. And, you know, so talk about your schedule a little bit, and maybe a little bit of the history that you know of that Republic tournament, because it's got some tremendous history.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely, you know, it's a special tournament for me because it's a tournament that when I was in high school, I got to play in all 4 years, you know, playing at Rogersville, like you mentioned before, and then just talking to a lot of the local people that have been around the program for such a long time. And I know it's a tournament that our community is proud of. I don't know what year we're on, but I know it's one of the longer standing tournaments around. And, you know, we have an expectation of making sure we bring good teams to it. And we feel like we've got a really good field this year of teams. I feel like every year I repeat myself saying that, but it seems like it keeps getting better and better each year. From the area, we have us, Ozark, and Rolla. And then from Arkansas, we have a Russellville, Arkansas team that's a Class 5 program there in Arkansas, and they've kind of been the top of their Class 5 league and been one of the better Class 5 programs in the state, have multiple guys that have scholarship offers to play at the next level. And so we know they're going to be a quality team. And then we're bringing in a Springdale team that plays in that Class 6 conference there in Northwest Arkansas that's so tough. And then we've kind of dipped into the Kansas City area. We have Park Hill South coming and playing in it. They played 2 years ago in our tournament, and then they had to step away last year due to the times that we were in. And then we've got Lincoln Prep, and then we got Liberty High School, who was the state runner-up last year to Kickapoo. So once again, another loaded field. And, you know, I always say that there's going to be a team leave this tournament that to start the season with maybe only 1 win or no wins, and that's still going to maybe end up winning 20 games and having a really good season. And we've had that every year I've been here, where a team's maybe won 1 game and ended up winning 20 plus and going to the Final Four or doing things at the district and conference level that's pretty special. So I think we're going to have a similar setup to that. And then after we finish that, you know, obviously all the tournaments we're in are difficult. You know, our conference is one of the toughest conferences in the state, top to bottom. It seems like it's a conference that keeps getting better too. You know, the schools that haven't had as much success and tradition, they continue to get better too. And it's just every night is a war. We've been fortunate to be on the winning side a lot of nights in this league, but a lot of nights it comes down to about 2 or 3 possessions, and we got to find a way. Those are the things that keep me up at night, to make sure some of those teams don't sneak up on us and have us on the wrong side of some of those meetings.
Coach, and if you could go back, the 2021 coach, Tim Brown, could go back to that Tim Brown at the freshman year at Rogersville. What advice would you give yourself? Now you've been in this so long, but what advice would you give yourself as you look back?
I think to just enjoy each moment. I think a lot of us you're always focused on the next play. That's something we tell our kids, next play. And sometimes you worry about big picture things, and just enjoying every single moment. There's going to be nights where maybe you don't play good and you have to be accountable for that. But if you're fortunate enough to win, even in a contest where maybe you didn't play good, it's so hard to win games in this area with the level of competition. And I think just enjoying every step of the way. And I think probably guilty of that all through high school and college, and maybe not enjoying each moment as much as you'd like. And that's something I try to relay to our guys, that some of you may have an opportunity to go play at the next level, but there's nothing better than putting on your high school jersey and competing for your hometown with your classmates. And the thing that I feel fortunate with at Republic is we have kids and parents that believe that still. And I know with the ability to go play basketball year round and do different things, kids get a tremendous opportunity anymore to play so many basketball games against great competition. And that's a hard sell for a lot of programs, to convince them that playing for their home school is special. And I feel very fortunate to be in a program and in a community where putting on the black and orange is the highlight of these kids' basketball careers until their next step. And that's what I try to tell them. Let the next step and the next phase be the next step and the next phase, and just enjoy this. And I think having gone through it myself as a player, I try not to draw too many comparisons from when I was a player. That's something I learned a long time ago. Was I'm a coach now, and they don't care what you did as a player, but just maybe some of the wisdom that I learned along the way to pass along to them.
Tim Brown, head coach, head high school basketball coach with Republic. And Coach, hey, thanks so much for your time today. Best of luck as you get your season underway. And I know we're going to visit again, but I really appreciate you being generous with your time here today.
Hey, thanks, Guy. Thanks for everything that you do for high school sports.
Hey, you bet. You're listening to High School Game Day on the Missouri Sports Network. Back after this.